would like to welcome everybody to Conversation with a Cancer, Season 2, Episode 2. And today I got another wonderful guest, another beautiful Black woman, someone who just jumped on my radar. And I think I gave her like a courtesy, like 45 minutes, or maybe I took a whole day before I sent her a message. But uh, she had responded to something I did on Twitter, and we immediately just started being chatty. So I would like to introduce Silk. Say hello to the people.
Hello, everybody.
So,
Thanks for having me on
oh,
tonight.
thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on. So first and foremost, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I can't complain about a thing. It's cold and snowy here, but
Mm,
I'm all right.
okay. Yeah, it's cold and snowy here too. I'm tired of looking at all this white, but So we are in wintertime, but we also are still in a pandemic. So how are you doing with the pandemic?
You know what? I'm good now. Like at first it was like an abrupt stop for me. I'm a blogger, a fashion blogger, and used to go around my city and just do all types of things and write about them. So, when everything started to shut down, I was like sitting at home, kind of bored. Got an air fryer, air fried everything, watched everything on Netflix, did coloring books, like was just doing the most. And now I guess I kind of settled into it, and now I'm getting back into once the snow starts to melt and
Mhm.
it gets a little, less below zero, a little warmer, then I'll start going back out and, having fun again, vlogging. I'm taking baby steps now, but
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I'm doing okay with it.
So you said you was doing coloring books. You have kids, or you were just coloring yourself?
I was coloring. So I'm not an online shopper, right?
Hmm.
But like when I'm a shopaholic. So
Okay.
when everything shut down, I couldn't go nowhere. I couldn't shop. That's my number one like stress reliever. I couldn't do anything. So I broke down and got an Amazon account, and I was like, I don't even know what to buy on Amazon. And I was just searching for anything, and fashion coloring books came up, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. And I think I colored like one page, and I was like,
That's the first for me. I never heard somebody say I don't do online shopping, but the first thing I bought was a coloring book. That's definitely a first for me.
because I was so scared. I was so scared to buy clothes. Like I'm literally a personal stylist, so I shop for a living, and like I need to touch, feel, like feel the stress. Like I need to see in front of me these clothes. I can I still have a hard time buying online, although I have like I'll buy accessories and something like safe, but like shoes and my outfits, no, it's too risky.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, that's very important that you said that because we kind of started talking be kind of I had this thing about food and movies and television, and you made a comment about, well, let me say what it was. I said one of my pet peeves in movies and television is them using real food and wasting it. And then you responded with, you don't know what you're talking about. Let me get you together. Okay, you didn't say that. No, you said that most of the time they use props and it's not the real thing in there, and some of it may be real, but most of the time, from your experience, that it's prop. So that makes me want to ask you, who is Silk? How to let's before we get to what we are just discussing, who is Silk? Tell me about Silk. I know you like clothes, but tell me a little bit more.
So I am, let's see, I'm from Cleveland. I'm 38. I have a son. He'll be 19
Okay.
on Saturday actually. And I am a stylist. I write. I do everything but sew. I don't sew at all. But I love everything to do with like fashion and style. I think that's a very big distinction, like, because it's fashion is what you wear, but style is how you wear it. So a lot of the jobs that I do depend on what, I guess, what it is that actual person is looking for. Because I could do anything from personal styling to shopping to costume design, wardrobe styling, and they're all different things. Runway styling or styling for shows, for like local fashion shows. So I've done them all and I love them all differently. But right now I am a personal stylist for a online company. I'll just say that I work for an online
Okay.
fashion company.
Okay. So how does one get into being a stylist? Like, is that something you did when you was little? Like when your mom was getting ready to go out, she put on some brown heels with a purple dress. She was like, wait a minute, I don't look right. Like, let me get you together before you go out. Or was it something you just knew later on in life as you start growing? Like, I'm into styling, I'm into clothes, I'm into quote unquote want to help, because you are helping people when you do things like that. So is
Mhm.
that something that you always wanted to do, or did you fall into it? Was something just happen to just fall in place for you?
So it's a mix of like all of that. Like when you think back and you connect the dots to your career and stuff, or to the things that you are doing now. I used to play with Barbies a lot, but I didn't really like, I'll create storylines for them based on their outfits, and like everything was more so based around the outfit they were wearing, instead of like, playing regular like house and they're in their Barbie core. No, they're actually going somewhere and the theme of the day is this. And I would literally like write little stories about them. And then I used to draw and stuff, and write like other little stories, and I always illustrate my own characters.
Mm,
And I used to dress real weird in like school, all through school. And then when I got to college though, like my weirdness was embraced. I went to a HBCU in Central State University,
okay.
and from there, like every day was a fashion show. So we all dressed, and like it was fun. I started styling some of my classmates for, like, we would have like business days where we have to dress up on Wednesdays. And like a lot of them did not know how to dress up like business attire. So we would go to like the local Goodwill and put outfits together for them. And from there, I didn't really know it was styling back then, but that's what it was. And once I graduated, I thought I was gonna, write for Double XL or the stores, because I'm very much into hip hop. But I actually started working for a store called a fast fashion store called Dots, working in the
Mm.
plus size section. I started working with plus size women, like getting their outfits together for like $20 or under. And that was just like a lot of fun. And from there, I started doing like styling for fashion shows, local fashion shows, and just doing my own thing. And it just all kind of branched from there. And that was like years ago. I also went to fashion school. And that's where things really took off, because I was like getting the education like outside of the actual classrooms. I was doing my own thing. I was doing my own shows and participating in designer shows where it's usually just designers. I was only stylists participating. So I got known around my city for doing stuff like that.
That's, you know, before I address everything you just said, I'm surprised you and I have never ran into each other before up until this point, because I do fashion shows. Not, I don't walk. I'm not a model or anything like that, but I help put on a fashion show at least two a year. And I'm just surprised I've never came across you in that circle. So maybe that's just that, hearing how you talk about you've been around and you start, like, I'm just surprised that just, and we probably know some of the
Wait,
same
where have
people.
you? Yeah, we probably do.
We
Where are
do.
you? Where are the shows that you usually do?
So you ever heard of Connie Pickard?
Yeah.
I've been doing her show for, I say, maybe the past 3 or 4 years. What about Walkie Wear
Oh,
Productions?
oh my gosh. That was like one of the last shows that I actually blogged at. Von Glover is like, in fact, I've been out of fashion for like the whole little pandemic thing. And Von Glover actually called me and like checked on me. And I thought that was the sweetest thing ever because he was just like, we haven't seen you. And people were asking
Wow.
about you. I'm like, oh, because I used to be at all the shows and stuff. And I just thought that was the sweetest thing ever. But yeah, and it's funny because I want to say like a little bit before the pandemic, Honey had a show and I was supposed to go blog at it, but something came up and I didn't make her show. And it was about to be the first show that of hers that I was going to attend, and then everything happened. But that is so crazy. Like it is such a
So we have ran into each other, just probably cross shoulders and didn't even know. Wow.
didn't even
Wow.
know. And usually my hair is a lot brighter purple. It's purple, but
Hmm.
it's like a dark purple. But usually my hair is a brighter purple. So if you see me, we see like that is so crazy. Wow.
Wow. Wow. So okay, so back to what you were saying. So I just that's very detailed how you were saying that you were the well, side note, I used to play with my sister's Barbies too. I used to get my action figures and I used to just have them come out as the manager, but that's here and there. But I used to just take them and make up storylines for them, and to like that's really a detail oriented person. Like at a young age, like for you to be like, you know what, I want this particular Barbie to have her own identity, her own story, and things of that nature. So that's really cool. So, I gotta ask. So, if you were doing these things at an early age, what was your wardrobe like? Because we young, we don't get to buy on clothes. We get what our parents buy for us. So like, what was your wardrobe like?
See, I'm not gonna lie to you. My mama was cool. Like so I was born here in Cleveland, but we moved around a lot and I live down south. I live in Alabama and I lived in Georgia and I'm the only child. So my mother,
Mm.
she very much like indulged me. And I remember it must have been like maybe third or fourth grade, whenever MC Hammer was hot, okay?
Okay.
And Alabama. We was living in this small town called Gaston, Alabama, and I wanted these MC Hammer pants so bad. Like, and who in Gaston, Alabama is selling some MC Hammer pants? The baggy.
Right, right,
Nobody.
right.
My mother made me a pair of polka dot MC Hammer pants, and I
Wow.
boldly wore them to my private Christian school. And so, like that, like if it made me happy, I would wear it. And so, being dark skinned and being like I'm not even tall, but back then I guess I was considered tall because I'm like 5'7.5". But back then, like I've always been 5'7", I feel like. So I always stood out. So
Mhm.
I always wore bright colors, neons. Like I was, yeah, I was wearing the Spice Girl boots in high school. I wasn't dressing like I wasn't wearing name brand. I wasn't wearing a Tommy Girl. I wasn't wearing a Guess. I wasn't wearing none of that. I was wearing whatever. I was vintage shopping back then. Like before it was cool. I was shopping at thrift stores with my grandmother and like piecing stuff together and seeing what I could find that would make me look different. I wanted to look different. I wanted to stand out because I was already getting looked at. So I'm like, I'm gonna give you something to look at.
Right. I know that's right. Yeah. I went to a Catholic school too, so I know what that's like. I know what that's like. I
Mm.
know what that's like. But that's dope though, because my mom had 4 kids, and I always tell people like my mom never bought me any name brand shoes until I didn't get my first pair of Nikes till I was in the 6th grade. But I remember my mother would just buy me things that I did like and did want, but shoes just wasn't one of them. She was real particular, like, I'm not buying you this. I guess she must have knew I probably would have dog walked them, but I think that's dope that
See,
she
I
made you
played
some.
ball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, played ball. So my dad, he made like I didn't like my dad. He wasn't in the house with me, but like he made sure like, oh, you play ball, or you're gonna have some. You're not gonna have these LA gears. You buy some.
Hey, I had
Because I
them
was in school with my LA gears on like
I had
you're
some
not gonna wear the BK.
what I don't even think I had neither one of those. I had some XJ like 900 or 9,000. It was a Payless and Payless joints that light up. I thought I was killing it with the two Velcro straps and the light. But as you get older and people like, what are those? We were saying what are those in the 90s way before that was cool. So
Yes,
um
yes.
yeah, that was really difficult for me. So in the field that you in, there's gotta be some ups and some downs because in order for you to be a stylist for someone and not only yourself, you have to put yourself out there and hopefully someone would give you a chance. So what is that like for you? What are some of the ups and downs of being a stylist, let alone a blogger? Because I used to blog, so I know all about that. But talk a little bit about,
Mhm.
you know, transitioning from, okay, this is what I want to do. Now let me see if I can find someone and let me do it for them.
So I'm not gonna lie to you, like that was the hardest part because I- and I think that's kind of why I started. Like it went hand in hand. I had to blog because I had to educate people on what a stylist does. Because for a long time, people thought I did hair. And I'm
Mm,
like, I'm a beautician. I do my own hair, but no, I can dress you though. But then, people not knowing what that was, like they would get offended. Like, what do you mean? You want to style me? You want to dress me? Like, I can dress myself. I know how to dress. So, and then also like being here in Cleveland, like especially back then, because I'm talking about like maybe '09, like yeah, '08, '09, tense around there. Like it just wasn't a known thing. So I started like when I would go to fashion shows and then I would work backstage at fashion shows. I would work with models. I would be like, if you need a stylist for a photo shoot, like I got you. Or I would go to photographers. So I started building relationships like that, like one on one, just putting myself out there and like I said, blogging and saying this is what a stylist does and this is what a fashion stylist does. And oh, do you happen to need a fashion stylist for your boutique fashion show that's coming up? Like, let me help style some looks for you. Or as a matter of fact, let me have a scene in that. Like, so I would have to ask people ask people to especially to be a part of their shows. And a lot of people would be like they would like me, but they wouldn't understand. Like, so you don't design and you don't sell clothes. What do you like? What exactly are we giving you a scene for? And I would literally just have the models bring a whole bunch of stuff. No, actually, I would bring a whole bunch of clothes because, like I said, I'm a shopaholic. So I have clothes in every size. Like I have a whole wardrobe full of show clothes ready to go. And I would tell models to bring like basic pieces, a white shirt, jeans, ripped pants, something like that. And I would build outfits from whatever they had. And that's how I like also promoted myself what a stylist does. I work with what you have in your closet. So now you see I styled you for this show. So listen, if you have a birthday coming up and you
right.
need a cute outfit, well me. So it was a lot of word of mouth. It was a lot of hustling
Mm-hmm.
hard and
Mm-hmm.
like really, I could not be my introverted self. I had to become Lady Silk and like really put myself out there as, I need this job. So hire me.
Right, right. Okay, so that's interesting that people didn't understand what you would think would be such a simplified term, a simple term that people would be able to understand. I am a fashion stylist. Like, what do you mean? What does that mean? So I guess it's not as common as you think then when you're going through it and people will catch on right away. So now you're at the point where you're explaining it to people, you're doing photo shoots, you're getting people to understand. Maybe you're starting to get a little customers out of this. At any point, did you think like, okay, I'm on the right path, but I need to be doing more? Or was you content with like having, word of mouth and this person tell the next person? Because, some people that think if they got one, they need five. And they got five, they need 10. Did you feel like you had to grow rapidly or was you content with just small growth until you got your name out there more?
Well, see, that's the thing. I never like focused on one aspect of styling. So even though I might have did like styling for a runway show, I also worked on like a play. Styled some scenes for my friend's play, or I would do like swapping shops, sip and swaps, where I have like a fashion workshop strictly for plus size women, or I would work with a boutique and like help their customers, like basically sell their merchandise to their customers, or even doing costume on local films. Like my best friend, one of my best friends is, well, she was a videographer, but she's just an artist now, just a fly artist. And she would just make all these like independent films, and I would do costumes for that, or just little small videos. And so I've always like kept it moving. So I wasn't really concerned about like how fast I was going. Just if I'm still enjoying this, do I enjoy this? Am I still, am I in a place where I think this is what I want to continue to do? And I did it for a good solid 10, 12 years. Um, well, 10 years rather.
Mm.
But I think like during the pandemic, that was one thing that like I sat down. I needed to slow down, and it's made me think of like what direction I really want to go in now. Do I want to go back to that? Do I want to try something new? Do I want to like, so I'm still in that process now of like seeing what direction I want to go in. And I don't know. I don't really worry about expansion. It's like I said, it's always about, am I still happy doing this?
Mm. You sound like me. I tell people all the time, you either do what you love or you get paid a lot of money to work a job. So that's how I look at things, like all the time. So okay, so you're not really looking so much for expansion. You're looking for your what you're going to be happy with doing every day.
Fulfillment.
Mm,
Fulfillment. Yeah.
okay.
Or it's
So
different things that keeps me happy.
within your fulfillment, I'm assuming that's how you get into other avenues like food propping and blogging and things like that. So are you a person who you say you tried a bunch of different things and know what you like, or you just focused on one thing and once you kind of, I don't want to say hit a roadblock. I mean, like, excuse me, not a roadblock, not like you're selling, but you just know that you're ready to move on to other things and keep the other one in your back pocket. Is that something like the path you think you took?
Yeah, because it's all, see, that was the thing back when I was in school. They'd be like, oh, focus, you gotta focus, you gotta focus. Because I used to be everywhere. Like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. And I would explain it to my advisor. And I have my like my little tree branch of everything. But the focus has always been fashion and style. So anything that branches off from that is still under my focus. And even writing, because I also I'm a writer. I write essays, and I'm supposed to come out with a book, but I ain't wrote this book yet. But I I have like I I have like the outline of it and all that, and it's not fashion related, but it's like it's still writing. So I'm always like it seems like I'm always everywhere, but my focus is always going to be fashion and writing, because that's what I do. I do both of those. So anything that falls under that. And, now one of the things I did was an art installation during the pandemic, and it was a store. It was like I recreated a store window, and it was so much fun. And I think I want to do more installations. I want to do more art based fashion instead of like maybe going back to the same things I was doing. I don't know though, because I miss runway, I miss shows, I miss the drama behind the shows and the all that. So I don't know. I'm in this process now of figuring it out. While it's still snow on the ground. I got a little time, but
Yeah, you got lots of time. We probably gonna have snow till April
yes,
because it came in
to
like a
like March, April.
right. It came in like a
Right.
damn lamb, so you know it's gonna go out like a lion. Um,
Yeah.
so I agree with you that like when I work fashion, I love building the set. putting the set up, seeing the set be finished before people get in and walk on and be around it. I love that. I love being backstage. I love making sure the show goes the way it wants to go. I have no desire to walk on the runway. I have no desire to be a designer. You know, like I have a
Right.
I do my growing desire to put on a fashion show is growing. Like in the past 2 years, I've have wanted to put on a fashion show. Like I said, one day I'm gonna sit down with Vaughn and I'm just gonna talk to him about it because I've been doing this with him almost, shoot, I don't know, almost 8 or 9, 10 years. So like at this point, like I have a vast idea how to do them, but so I completely get what you're saying. Like I thought I was gonna write this book and have it done by my birthday in July, and I didn't because I'm just scatterbrained sometimes. So I understand what you mean by that. Um, so do you think you can find fulfillment and happiness in one particular area, or do you think you need multiple things going on to be happy? Because as a blogger, I think my best attribute is writing. I love writing, but I know I'm better at making music, and I'm getting better at doing the podcast, and I'm a property manager. So like I have all these things that I'm good at, but at the same time, I know my best attribute is probably writing, but I don't do it enough. So I can't say I'm great at it. So that's my passion. I want to be a writer. I want to be paid for writing. I want to be known for my writing. I don't want you to see my face. I just want you to see my writing. So my question is to you, could you be satisfied with one area of your passion or your greatness?
Um, Probably not because it's always been a toss up between fashion and writing. And
Mm,
I'm like you, like I know I'm a really, really good writer. Like I can read, I know I'm a good writer. I know I've written things that people have enjoyed. I've been published. All this, but I don't do it enough. Like I don't know that I want to make that my the way that I have to eat. You know what I mean? Like I don't want it to,
mm,
like I enjoy it, but only when I'm ready to do it. Only when I have something to write. Like only when when I'm ready to write something. And for me, like I've had jobs where I've done freelancing for like I still do a little freelancing every now and again, but I don't want to make that, like I said, depend on that. But as far as like fashion, I love the hustle behind it. I love the like finding that new job, finding that way to get paid, and I don't mind hustling for that, I guess. So I don't know that, like I'm the type, my brain won't let me just focus on one thing, like doing the same thing every day. That's why I cannot work an office job. Like I'm trying. Like it literally, I just used to die a little bit every time I had to go clock in. So even though I'm working for like a company, I still kind of am considered a freelancer, and so everything is different every day, and I need that. So I don't know. I think I have to have several different interests within my interests. You know,
mm,
like I
mm,
said, they
mm.
all fall within fashion and writing. So
I listen, I agree with you completely. Like I tried the whole, I'll just focus on one thing and put all my effort into it. But after a while, I'll be feeling like there's something else I should be doing. There's more I should be
yeah,
doing. There's something else that I'm not doing. That's my
yeah,
problem. I should tell my therapist all the time, like, man, I don't got no wins because nothing great of my passions have happened. And my therapist taught me to, you should appreciate the things you do have and consider those wins, because I wasn't looking at those things as wins. So for me, it was always about being so strong minded about my passions and missing out on the things that weren't my passion. And
mm,
so I had to learn how to put those on the same level, same playing field, because those help build up your passion. Um,
mm,
and I hope one day I can sit down and finish my movie script. I hope one day I can sit down and start writing again. Because I used to be a paid ghostwriter, and I shouldn't have quit, but I quit for very, I think, selfish reasons, but necessary reasons. So, and I just never had that passion come back since then. Like I can't recapture it, and it's been years. So I don't know when it's going to come back, but I hope when it does, I'm able to sit down and get that out. So, I completely understand what you're saying. Like you make a lot of sense. Like, and we are in Cleveland, Ohio, and in my opinion, it really isn't much here, but there is still a stuff here for you can accomplish and somewhat reach the desires that you're trying to fulfill here in Cleveland, Ohio, in my opinion.
Yeah, it just, and see, that's the thing I had to learn too. Like, I used to, so I'm gonna tell you, I'll share with you. I don't really believe in time. Like,
Mm,
I don't really, like, I don't have no clocks in my house. Like, sometimes I don't know what day it is. Like, I know that don't sound right, but I don't get into that because, like, you do things when you're supposed to do them.
mm,
And I'll tell you, I've been writing my book for the past probably 20 years. And it's going to be done when it's done. It's some stuff I got to work through. And I sometimes you have to live a little bit, right? Like I had to I think that's one reason why blogging has helped me with my writing, because I go out and do things that I normally probably wouldn't do. I got in like a flotation device tank once, like just
mm,
trying to just doing different stuff, just so I could write about it. And sometimes I don't even write about it. I went to my friend had a art installation, a virtual reality art show that was amazing, that blew my mind. And I was able to connect it to Virgil Abloh's last Louis Vuitton show, and it was amazing, like the whole dreamscape experience. And I actually sat down and wrote about it, and that's something I hadn't done in, like, I don't know how long. So I say, you can't, you can't sometimes when you do stuff, like, and once it's done and you're over it, like that's it. You've experienced it. It's, you're going to find another experience to either replace that or something that is going to be greater than what you did in your past. That's why I'm not, like, I feel like I've been out of the fashion world in Cleveland for like 3 years, really, or 2 years. I don't even know however long it's been, but it's still there if I want to go back. It's still there if I want to add my own little stank on it, or if I want to do something different, or like I said, if I want to go a different avenue where I'm just focused on the art of fashion. So I don't really, you can't really trip on like what you did in your past, but you do have to celebrate your wins. And you do have to, sometimes, like, I don't really use a resume, but I do write down everything that I've done. And sometimes I got to go back and look at that to be like, okay, yeah, I was that bitch. Like, I did that, like, on my own, without no agency, without being in Cleveland, all places. So, I don't I don't have no regrets. I don't have no or I wish I had did this. No, because I'm moving forward, and I'm always, up to see what's new. I can't wait to see what's next for me.
mm. Okay. Well, I just that was very refreshing because sometimes when you're going through the process of trying to figure things out and sometimes you forget, like, man, I did do this. I did get this done. Like every article that I ghostwrite, I still have it. I still have it. I can't find it nowhere
Supposed
online.
to.
Right. I don't can't find these articles nowhere online, but I know I did it. And so I made a portfolio of all the things that I've
Mhm.
written. So every once in a while I'll apply for a writing job and send that out and I get denied. I'm like, all right, this is outdated. No one wants this, maybe wants this type of writing anymore or whatever. So I just be thinking about like at some point I just got to start writing stuff again. So I do agree with you that
Mhm.
I don't believe in time either. I do believe that when it's supposed to happen for you, you definitely need to be ready so you can, you know, take on that task that you claim that you've been wanting or praying for or asking for. So I definitely agree with you
Yeah.
that. But this is the part of my podcast where we have to talk about why it's called Conversation with a Cancer, because I am a Cancer. And I like to ask people, what is your experience with a Cancer, man or woman, whether it's child, whether it's an individual, whether it's somebody with a pronoun, whatever it is, let me know.
So, oh my gosh. So when you invited me to be on this, I was like, oh my God, I don't really know any cancers.
Mm,
And so here's the thing about me, like I'm a Pisces and like that's all I know. Like I'm a Pisces and my son is an Aquarius, and that's all I know about. Like I don't really even I don't really unless somebody tells me, I'm not gonna know what sign they are. Like I don't know. So I don't think anybody has ever told me that they're a Cancer before that I
okay.
recall. So I don't know that I have had any experience with any cancers that I
Okay, no
can
problem.
recall.
You're not the first to say that. That's no big deal. I still have to ask because I am a Cancer and I'm always trying to hear a Cancer story. So, okay, so
Mhm.
let's get back into it. So we talked a little bit about blogging and what it takes to get to where you need to get and being in Cleveland, Ohio, and things of that nature. So, do you have any desire to have a design by Silk? Do you want to make your own clothes, or you just like the idea of putting somebody with a fit on
Let me tell you, I used to try to sew like my Barbie's clothes, and that's where the buck stopped. So that was back in the early 90s. Okay. So no, I can I can glue, I can hot I'm a bad bitch with a hot glue gun.
them?
I can, spit some stuff together. I can like tape something together, but sitting there sewing all day, no, that's the loneliest job in the world. And it's terrible because my grandmother is she's 90 and she's been a seamstress all her life. And she used to try to teach me the game and I just like so I never I have a beautiful sewing machine that has never been touched. And I've had it since I've been in fashion school. And I just, yeah. But who knows? Like maybe like in my the later part of my life, later part, maybe also, I don't know, but I can't imagine because I don't even like following patterns and instructions like that. I can't read none of that stuff. I get frustrated, beat them, went out and bought something. So I don't know.
But
So I can't see it.
Barbie clothes, I'm pretty well. Let me not assume, but Barbie clothes, was your hand even steady? Could you?
Listen, even in fashion school, like so I went to the school I went to, like I went for fashion merchandising, but we would still have to take like design classes and stuff. And my poor design teacher, he liked me so much, but he would just I would be trying to sew these little circles and they would be like squares down there. And he's just like so confused, like, how did this happen? Like all you have to do is follow. It doesn't matter. So I can sketch. So one of the best things I learned while in fashion school was that I don't necessarily have to ever sew anything. If I want to be a creative director, I can just sketch a design and have it made. And if I wanted to have a fashion house like that, or I'm sorry, a fashion brand like that, which is a lot of these designers do that, then I could do that way. But as far as sitting down and like making custom designs and stuff like that, absolutely not.
I ain't mad at it. I can't sew nothing. I don't know how I passed sewing class in seventh grade, but I did. I got a C plus. I still know how to put the thread in the needle, but that's about it. So okay, that makes sense. A lot of people are better at styling than actually designing themselves. So okay, so what are some of your goals that you have for yourself since you have so many passions? Do you have a mile mark? Because you said you don't believe in time, so that means whenever it happens for you, it happens for you. But do you have a goal that you want to happen for you sooner than later?
I mean, I would like to finish my book eventually. I have a lot of stories to tell, and um, I have a lot of stories to tell from just like growing up the way I did and my whole college experience, my whole HBCU experience, and like navigating my 20s and 30s. And just, I always make sure I have fun. So I definitely want to tell those stories, and maybe not even just in book form, maybe. I don't know. I like storytelling. I call myself a storyteller more so than a writer, because even with clothes and through fashion, I tell stories. Even if I'm, with the some of the things that I'm doing, you have to have some sort of narrative. It has to have a start, a middle, and an ending. So I think that is just going to be my goal, to just keep telling stories and making sure that they, make sense and stay true to who I am. But um, as far as any other goes, they're more so private. Like, I don't really
Okay.
make resolutions, but I do have things that I'm constantly working on, and that's throughout the year. So those are little personal things. But like professionally, I'm gonna do what comes to me and what I come across that seems like it's gonna be fun for me.
So I remember you had said back earlier about how the pandemic slowed things down for you. So are you allowing yourself to get back out here, or are you being hesitant because of the different variants in the pandemic? And basically, are you allowing what we can't control to prevent you from going as hard as you would like to go?
No, at first I probably was, but
Okay.
now no. It's well, the only thing is, like I said, this weather, like that's only,
Yeah.
that's been the slow that be out, because I'll work from home, so it's literally I w- welcome going out. Like, I'll go to the library, I'll go to Heinen's, I'll work out at different places, and so it's not I'm not letting anything slow me down, other than, like I said, right now, just this weather. And nobody's like, there are not that many places to go right now. You know what I mean? Like, I think towards the spring and summer, things will pick up and people will come out of hibernation, and there'll be more things to do. And I'll probably have some event ready to go, but I don't know yet. I'm still, like I said, I'm in the planning process, like heavily planning, and like not just planning, but like, I guess, editing, because I have so many plans, and then I just need to kind of narrow down what I want to work on in the next few months, sort of thing.
Okay, I can dig that. That makes perfect sense. Like, I think since you don't believe in time, or maybe so much of in time frames, but just know that there's things that you want to finish. So you're going to set your sights on that. I mean, writing's hard though, right? Listen, writing is hard. You got, when that inspiration hits, you just gotta keep writing till you can't write no more. So
Yeah,
it's gonna hit you just like it's gonna hit me. So you gotta just make your body ready, your mind ready, and your hands ready. Luckily, we don't
yeah.
have
I
to use
always have my
typewriters.
phone. Yeah, I write in my notes. Like, I always have my
Hmm.
phone ready. So,
Hmm.
and like, I used to write on napkins and paper plate, whatever is available. So when the writing mood hits me, I'm always ready for it.
Yeah, I do
I
that
can't
too.
say
When I
that.
think of a joke while I'm driving, I'll open up my Samsung notes and I'll speak and text it into it. And so I'll be driving and speaking and text, and I'll be like, oh, it's not saying it right. So I'm trying to fix it. So I definitely do that. I know exactly what you mean with that. That's a real thing. That is a real thing. So, okay. So I just got like one or two more questions. So you love fashion. So tell me, who was the first person that inspires you that you saw? He's like, oh, I like that, like, oh, that the person who's wearing this, or the designer who made that, like, and who is your favorite, some of your favorite designers?
All right, so it was probably some before or after her, but nobody tops Lil Kim for me. Like, Kim was the inspiration between, like, Kim was the one who introduced me to high fashion. Like, I was probably already reading like Vogue, but only because like my grandmother had it. I didn't really understand everything. But when Kim started rapping about Moschino and Versace, and I was like, wait a minute, and then seeing it in her videos and like being able to see the same things that was um on the runways and in these fashion magazines, and I'm seeing it in this rap video. Wait a minute, that blew my mind. So Kim really was the one for me, and still to this day, like my hair has been purple for the last 20 years because of Lil Kim's videos. Like I
Really?
is really like she from the day I could dye my hair myself, like or found the way to make my own wigs and all that, like it was over. It was done. I could not wait. But as far as designers, so honestly, fashion has become so commercial and boring. It's not like it's
Preach
not
on it.
as exciting as it used to be. Like when I used to fangirl, I used to like queen out over Alexander McQueen. I used to fangirl over um Lon Von, about like different fashion houses. But now I'm really loving a lot of the young black designers. So many Payamas, uh CJR, like it's so many different black designers that are making waves and like are really really good at what they're doing, and
Mhm.
it's so exciting to like be able to witness it because I've been a fashion girl since I was like 11, and it's finally I'm finally starting to see the industry catch up. I'm seeing more of me, not just on the cover, but behind the covers, on the mastheads. Well, not the mastheads, but like, in the editorial spots. And that's where you really start getting to like the nitty gritty. Cause once we can tell our own stories now, you could see black writers in Vogue, you could see black photographers lighting black models and black stylists, and so now you're getting our point of view, and not just black, not just blacks, but also Asians and Pacific Islanders. Like it's so many different point of views that we're seeing in fashion now. So I'm digging more, so like I'll always go for style over fashion. Like, if you're wearing Balmain head to toe, like that's cool, but let me see you put it together with something from the hair store. Like I want to see how it looks with these Shein shoes, or like let me see an actual outfit. Let me see your style, not just what you're wearing. So I don't really even watch the runway shows like I used to. But like I did say, I did see the LV tribute, and it was beautiful. It was the cloth, like it was the 8 year tribute of Virgil, and it was so beautifully done. The clothes, the show, the composition, the music, like everything just went hand in hand, and it made me miss fashion. It made me realize like what I missed about why I got into this, the fantasy of it all. And you know, it really made me start thinking like, okay,
Okay.
this might have been the thing to kind of boost me and give me my inspiration back.
That's beautiful. Like my, how can I say it? I'm just gonna say how I need to say it. My perversion of seeing Lil Kim with the little purple outfit with the one breast out with the pink, with the purple pasty on, I was like, whoa. Oh, I don't know if this is fashion, but I need to be involved in some type of that was mind blowing to someone, to think that someone would just come like that, and it to be color code. Uh, I mean, it just matching. Like I can't even get my words together. I'm still, Lil Kim has always been forward thinking as far as how she wants to be seen. As far as her
Mhm.
parents, the clothes, her hair, like she just always been here. So when you said that, I started thinking like, yeah, I remember the first time I saw Lil Kim wearing that purple, like that just right away, like she's always been like that. So for me, that's just crazy. I'm not really into high fashion though. I like I'm probably gonna butcher the name. Is it called pronounced Da Vinci or Gavinci?
Givenchy.
Givenchy. Okay, see what I'm saying. So I
Givenchy.
think that's the only high fashion I like. Like I was gonna buy
Yeah.
something too. I saw how much it cost. I said, "Oh, $200 for a shirt. I can't do it. No, not me. Like, I can't do it." But eventually, I'm gonna buy some because I really do like that. But they're all under the same umbrella. I just found that out last year. Like, I didn't know
Mhm.
Gucci.
LVMH,
I didn't.
LVMH, and then Carrick. Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, so y'all keep making all of this stuff, so it's just all coming back to your bank. So that's crazy. So you can't get away from one, and one of the other ones will get you." I wasn't a big Virgil follower. Like, I like his Nikes he did, his off-whites, them cold. I never got a pair. I still want a pair. I'm pretty sure they're gonna be really pricey now, but
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of his designs outside of that. I think maybe it just wasn't for my taste and my eye, but he was really great at what he did because people loved him for his designs. I just saw the Louis V shoes that he designed before he passed away, so I'm pretty sure like people go. I hope not in his death, but not. I mean, his passing, that people realize that y'all don't have to copy off of us. Y'all can just let us be in the field and do these beautiful things we want to do like y'all do instead of stealing from us. You know, you don't have to steal from our TikToks. You don't have to steal our designs. You could just hire us. Let us be in charge. Let us run it. Let us write these artists because we can do it on a level that will be appreciated for a long time. And so I think that's something people are going to get from Virgil and his passing, that not only was he talented, but he was someone that was needed. I don't know if he broke down any walls or any barriers. I know he was the first of his
Yes.
kind to do those things for Louis Vuitton and be that high up in that prestige. But I don't know who he lit in the door with him. But I hope the door is open now so people can ensure that more Virgils or people better than Virgil can be in those positions.
Right. Well, his legacy alone, like he so I'm not gonna get into it, but I'm a big Kanye stan, and like
Mm-hmm.
every is yeah. What I'm saying is what Virgil did is like he's gonna be in fashion history books, period. But
Right.
they won't be able to deny what he's done, period. And as far as his designs, he's really the one who brought streetwear to the luxury sector in the way that we're seeing now. Like people were doing streetwear, but it wasn't until Virgil like really got into his space. So I don't know. I think his whole journey has been so interesting in the way he started out and like how he incorporated. It wasn't just fashion. It was more of, like I said, the art and the music, and he really was a creative director in every sense of the word. And I think in his death, more people will maybe read more about him and really see like why he was so great, why he was so good at what he did, and how he became that, and where he took fashion, men's fashion especially. um and I think like if people see this last show, that I don't know. I guess it depends. 'Cause like I said, I'm a fangirl of fashion, so I'll get into the story behind everything, the legacy from Louis Vuitton only, starting off selling just luggages to to the accessories that Virgil put out there for the men's. Like is I could talk about it for hours, so I won't get into all that, but um, I wanted to take it back to Lil Kim's Pasty real quick because that was one of my I actually blogged about that, and that was one of my top 5 fashion moments like ever. And the whole thing behind that was Misa Hilton, and she was Misa Hilton Brim, and she was Kim's stylist, and like she's the reason why Kim was able to get so many other things that she was able to wear. Misa sourced all that, and she came up under P Diddy. She
Right.
used to she was his baby's mother, but
Mm-hmm.
more than that, she like styled for Jodeci, all them, like everybody that was from Uptown to Bad Boy.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was one of the first stylists that I knew about. Her and June Ambrose, they were the first 2 stylists that I actually knew about. And So, that was also inspiration to me, like not just Kim, but like the people around her. Cause I think she was one of the first celebrities to wear Nia Battle furs, who was one of the first and only Black furriers ever. Like she was Black and Native American, I think, but she's from New York and she passed in like early 2000s. But for a minute, like everybody in Hollywood was wearing her furs. If you've seen anybody in a colored fur, these exuberant furs, these gaudy furs, like they were all Nia Battle furs. And like that's another reason why I started blogging, because it was all this stuff that were the trends, we trend set, like, and people weren't talking about it. So I'm like, okay, let me give y'all the connection to New Jack Swing, to videos, to to why we're doing this stuff now. Let me give you the connection between the boosters, what were they called? The low lives, and why Ralph Lauren had to hire Tyson Bedford, and why we wear layers, and why, like, the connections are crazy once you, like, or if you're a nerd like me and you really just
Right.
sit and look at everything and remember stuff and go back and research, and it's like, nobody knows this stuff. I gotta tell everybody. I gotta tell everybody. So, I just wanted to mention that part because that made me think of Misa when you mentioned the pasty, because that was a great moment.
She needed her flowers. Misa definitely needs her flowers. I was just watching something
Mhm.
where they was talking about her. I was like, oh man, I forgot about her because she's not a spotlight person. She does her what she does, and you never really see, but you just I mean, you never really hear about it, but you see her things. But I didn't know she was Little Kim stylist. See, I didn't know that. You just told me that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she's dope though. I wonder if she still got the blonde hair. I wonder if she's still rocking the short blonde hair. She has short blonde
She
hair.
do, and
She do?
matter of fact, she's in this. It's a movie on Netflix right now, and in fact, it's about to go off at the end of this month. It's called The Remix, and it talks about Misa. It talks about Dapper Dan. It talks about all the black, like, tastemakers from the '90s that really did it. Like, a lot of people don't realize Dapper Dan, he was literally making Gucci and Louis Vuitton and MCM stuff, like clothes, before they were actually making clothes. Like, that's why the whole Gucci controversy, where Alessandro, he made this jacket that was it was a carbon copy of Dapper Dan from, like, in the 80s. And that's why, he ended up getting appointed to his Gucci standing, where he still works at now. But the story is so interesting because he got raided because Mike Tyson got into a fight in front of
Mm-hmm.
his store. And I can never pronounce her name, but the lady she's somebody now, she was one of the ones who did the raids. And, like, it just goes to show you, like, fashion goes in the full circle. And I think Misa also works for MCM now, or she was a creative director for MCM like maybe a year or two ago. So that's like a throwback thing that she styled Beyonce for her video. Like, it's, like I said, I could talk about it for hours, but
Right. Right. Then
yeah.
I couldn't pronounce the guy name, but some big fashion guy just passed away also. And they were talking about all the people he styled
Terry
from, what was his name?
Terry
Yeah.
Muglier.
Yeah. They would
Yeah.
look, I don't be knowing these people name, but when they be showing like he did this, I was like, oh yeah, I remember seeing that. So yeah, I definitely saw a lot of his work growing up and didn't know that that was someone like
Mhm.
us that did that. So I just think that's beautiful that we are hopefully in a position now where when we come to these tables, our voices are being heard, because
Yeah.
I don't really care if we're making the best stuff or they're making the best stuff. I just want us to be able to be heard, so the things that we want to make can be made. I think
Yeah.
that's very important. I just watched that documentary on Von Dutch the other day, and I was like, yeah,
Did
that
you
what
finish it?
I did. It was a crazy one. I finished it, but I was like, man, this is. I like documentaries like that stuff. I don't know, like that was a crazy documentary,
Yeah,
And
I didn't make it past. I think I was looking at it for something else. I'm like, okay, am I watching a cartel or am I watching about um making a
because
podcast?
they did preface it like that, like you were gonna go deep into it. But once they started talking about the clothes and the design and how it got took over, and how this black guy, I forget his name, dang, he's the reason why it took off, because he started bringing celebrities in, like rappers and R&B singers and movie stars, and having them try the gear and get the gear for free. Oh, I can't remember that black guy's name, but he's the
Is it
reason why
Steve
Von
South?
Dutch. No, no, it wasn't Steve Stout. Um,
Uh,
I can't remember his name, but I will have to look it up. He's the reason it took
now I'm
off.
gonna have to watch it.
You gotta
Now I'm gonna have to
once you
finish it.
watch it, you're gonna be like, oh man. So that's what I'll be thinking. Like, it be us and they just ignore us, and then they need us, and then they take off, and then so that's my whole thing. But but I definitely want to thank you for coming on the podcast. We got started a little later than I wanted to today, but I'm definitely appreciative. um you and I got to stay in touch. I'm pretty sure at some point you and I need to sit down and just have a conversation, brainstorm. I'm pretty sure I can throw some things at you, you can throw some things at me. We probably need to work on some stuff, but that's all, well, in in due time. But I'm just so grateful that you commented on what you commented on Twitter, because you are a very interesting person, and I hope I can
Oh,
be a helping hand going forward as far as helping you promote. If you need some promote or sharing something, or if you got something going on, I will attend. Like, I'm very definitely down to help us get to where we need to get to, because
same
just
here.
once one go up the ladder, we got to help the next person up. We can't pull the ladder up
For
behind us. So
sure.
so
For
I'm very
sure.
grateful for you, Silk, and I hope that whenever your book gets finished, after 20 years of writing it, and it finally comes out, you receive all the glory and accolades that you and the hard work you put into it. Um, and I hope that whatever you decide to put your energy towards, it goes the way you want it to go.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Ah, no problem, no problem. So, um, as I forget to say in my last episode, I gotta make sure I say it in this episode, because it's something very near and dear to me. I always tell people, drink more water and eat more chicken.
Okay.
And before I let you go, I'm so glad you got on the air fryer train. That's such a beautiful thing. Air fry everything you can. Don't use grease for nothing unless you're making a cake or something. Pour a little oil in
Yes.
there. But you know, air fry everything. I need to get a bigger one so I can put my turkey burgers in there at the same time.
Okay.
But I would like to thank you once again, and we definitely gonna be talking soon, because there's so much I want to talk to you about, because I have so many more questions, but I didn't want to keep you on here all night. So we would definitely be in touch.
Hey, and I'm a talker, so I would have been on here all night too. Oh, yeah, make sure you hit me up.
All right. Well, thank you, so.
All right.
All
Thank you
right.
too. Good night.
Good night.